A fiery accident.
Local stores are preparing for the holiday shopping season. Straight ahead, why a local toy store owner has renewed optimism for the season.
As businesses and shoppers prepare for Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, retail spending has been surprisingly strong this quarter.
Yeah, despite the impacts of inflation, many customers are feeling a little bit better about the economy. News specialist Jed Bowl talked with a toy store owner in Foothill Village about the season ahead. Jed?
Yeah, Ashley, Bill and Diane Sartain have owned the tutoring toy store here in Foothill Village for about 30 years, and they could really use a good holiday shopping season. They tell me the last 2 years have been really rough. They closed for 3.5 months during the pandemic and have not completely recovered, but they are climbing out of it. Nationally, retail sales rose 1.3% in October, exceeding expectations. The National Retail Federation predicts retail sales will be 6 to 8% higher than last year. Another survey shows Americans plan to spend more on Christmas gifts than they have in the last 3 years.
So I'm fairly optimistic. We are off to a good start for the fourth quarter, and that's always a encouraging sign.
People feel better about the economy. They feel a little bit better about how things are doing. It's still a lot lower than it was pre-pandemic, but it is coming up.
The economist points out inflation is still way too high, but not as high as it was. If gas prices continue to come down, that will continue to help consumer sentiment. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we talk to some shoppers about how they feel about the economy heading into the holiday shopping season. For Live at 5, I'm Jed Bowl.
All right, Jed, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you. Well, as inflation...
Create spaces where members of the LGBTQ community can feel safe.
People feel better about the economy. They feel a little bit better about how things are doing.
And with just days until the official start of the holiday shopping season, how a local toy store is preparing for the Small Business Saturday rush of customers.
KSL News at 6 starts now.
There was a murder weapon. Well, back in Salt Lake City, an update on a deadly shooting downtown. Police have identified the victim as 29-year-old Nicole Olson. Investigators say she was shot and killed early Sunday morning in a nightclub parking lot near 300 South and West Temple when her boyfriend got into an argument with the suspect. A GoFundMe for the family says that Olson leaves behind a young son. News specialist Debbie Worthen is speaking to her loved ones. We'll have a live report tonight on KSL-5 News at 10.
New tonight, the Bureau of Land Management.
Probably not. Well, holiday shoppers are busy checking off their lists this week. Despite inflation, customers plan to spend more on holiday gifts this year than they did last year. News specialist Jed Bowl talked with a toy store owner at Foothill Village about his reasons for optimism. Jed?
Yeah, Ashley, Bill and Diane Sartain have run the tutoring toy store for more than 30 years, and they could really use a good holiday sales season this year. Despite mixed signals in the national economy, they see some good signs in their sales.
So I'm fairly optimistic. We are off to a good start for the fourth quarter, and that's always a encouraging sign.
Bill Sartain says customers are shopping and numbers are up, but the last 2 years were rough. They closed for 3.5 months during the pandemic.
We have not totally recovered from that, but we see that we're well on the way. We're better than we were last year, for instance. So that's why we're optimistic.
Nationally, retail sales rose 1.3% in October, exceeding expectations. The National Retail Federation predicts retail sales 6 to 8% higher than last year. Another survey shows Americans plan to spend more on gifts than they have in the last 3 years.
People feel better about the economy. They feel a little bit better about how things are doing. It's still a lot lower than it was pre-pandemic, but it is coming up.
The economist points out inflation is still way too high, but not as high as it was.
Obviously, inflation is affecting all of us, but I budgeted a little money for this, and some presents don't have to be expensive to be nice and to be thoughtful.
Susan Matthews is already Christmas shopping and says she usually gets started even sooner.
I think it's been a rough year, and I think it's important to go out and still shop and show our kids that Christmas is still there and the season is still here for a reason, and it's still time to give.
And listen to this. In the 3 weeks leading up to Christmas, Bill Sartain tells me that he typically does as much business in one day as he does in a week the rest of the year. So they could use a lot of days like that this December. Guys?
Yeah, and especially kids love their toys. If you can hold it and you can see the quality, it's always a good thing.
Yep. All right. Hey, thanks, Jed.
Well, trending tonight, a rough story.